Let's see what's going on with this shit right here, son. I said, let's see what's going on. You heard these rappers are so disrespectful, bro. These fucking rappers, bro.
I want to talk about this trending story involving a few people. A popular streamer by the name of Playqueboymax'S, rapper Lil TJ, and rapper 5YOOOO. You might have heard about the story because it's trending on social media right now, but streamer Playqueboymax'S invited Lil TJ and 5YOOOO to one of his streams. It was a cook-up session where they were essentially making music while they were on live. Now, the meat and potatoes of the story is that Lil TJ and 5YOOOO ended up lighting up a J inside the spot. It was an Airbnb that Max had rented out for the purpose of this session. And he initially saw Lil TJ lighting up while the stream was going on, and he noticed and told him, hey bro, you can't do that in here because the smoke alarm will go off.
What'd you say? Stop playing smoke. Who's smoking? Who's smoking? Yo, TJ.
What's up? Who the
Yo, this a B&B. You can't smoke in here. This don't go off. Yeah, I appreciate you though.
And then a minute or two goes by and he tells him the same thing because Lil TJ wasn't listening. It took him a couple of times, like 3 or 4 times, before Max had to bring it up one final time, making it very clear that the show can go on if they don't respect his wishes. And then that's when he one final time kind of walked up to them and he told them, he was like, hey, you guys can go to the back if you want to smoke, the backyard.
Yo, bro. Yo, you can't smoke in here. This shit gonna go off. Like, please. I appreciate you.
Now, a few things happened after that, one of them being that 5YOOOO decided to blow smoke in his face before he left. That's right. He not only blew smoke in his face, but they both ended up leaving after that. So that sounds pretty clear to me. He's like, hey, bro, this is an Airbnb. You can't smoke in here. The alarm is going to go off. And he's like, all right, until he has to tell him once again. I don't know too much about Playqueboymax'S, but one thing's obvious. This man is very patient, but he's also very firm because, you know, he's standing on his principles, which says a lot about him as a person, but most importantly of all, as a man. But a man can only be so patient, and Max got to his breaking point because he stopped the music and he walks up to them, right? I don't know exactly what he says, but he does tell them that you can't be in here doing that and mentions something about there being a backyard, which is relevant because he's telling them you can go, you know, to the back and do that.
Can you show them where, like, in the back, niggas cannot smoke in? Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. If niggas smoking here, I'm gonna have to shut this bitch down. Like,
Out to the back. Backyard.
like that's the backyard.
Let Uncle.
It's in the back. Can you show him?
And then before they leave, like we...
Niggas moving funny, bro. Niggas moving mad funny, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They acting like fiends in the back, bro. If you look at them in the back, bro, they were looking like fiends, bro. Come on, son. Just put it down real quick, bro. Chill out, you heard, son? I know niggas in Brooklyn, nigga, you don't feel me? You don't want nothing to happen, but like you got backyard, so you should be Gucci, right? You know, right?
Saw 5YOOOO, who's about to be 35 in March, mind you, blows clouds right in his face. Now, to be fair, if you looked at the clip, he's responding to someone who's sitting on the left side near Max, and he happens to have a mouth full of clouds and conveniently blows it right in Max's face. Now, a couple important things I want to say in regards to this story. First of all, I'm happy to see that the majority of people have some sense because, you know, the general consensus seems to be that this was in fact disrespectful. If someone invites you to their space and there are certain rules in place, like, you know, you can't smoke inside the property, you got to respect the boundary, point blank period. Because what kind of situation is this? Well, Playqueboymax'S, who streams for a living, is working, so this is his workspace. He invites these two rappers to create some music and some content together, so this is a place of business, right? It's no different from going to a meeting as an artist, and the setting in itself might be different, but anyone who takes what they do seriously, they're not going to look at this and have any type of different feelings about it. Like, it's a workspace. So I'm happy that people are on the right side of things. However, on the other hand, we've seen people like this girl right here, Asian Doll. She posted a response to this on Twitter, and this is what she said: don't invite rappers if they can't smoke. So rappers are obviously, according to Asian Doll, above following the rules set by the people in charge of the space they're in. Rappers shouldn't automatically know.
I heard what Rage was saying and shit, bro. Like, she deadass making it seem like that's a part of, like, smoking is part of the job requirement, gang. Like, yo, chill out. No. Stop. Make music.
Basic human decency, like respecting someone else's environment just because they're rappers. There's absolutely no logic in what she's saying. And This actually brings me to a bigger and more important conversation regarding this type of behavior, which of course comes down to class and culture. But before we get into that, let me share something with you that I've heard from countless of people, specifically who work in the music industry. And some people, who've seen the title might already know what I'm going to be talking about. One thing I've heard time and time again, especially this past year, as I myself have kind of been dipping my foot in the water in the music industry, so to speak, but the majority of the people in the industry, right, the music industry, they actually don't like working with rappers. Now, rappers in the music industry are seen as some of the hardest creatives to work with, and this is something I've heard time and time again. I've heard this from engineers, videographers, photographers. I hear this especially from producers. I hear this from managers, A&Rs, and basically anyone who comes in contact with rappers in general. This isn't something that's often discussed publicly, so this might come as a surprise if you're hearing this for the first time. The truth is, people don't want to ruffle feathers or risk damaging the relationships they've built, and while I won't be naming any names, I've got a wow story to share with you. Stick around until the end of this video to hear it. Now, people in general don't like working with rappers because there's a specific type of behavior that comes with working with them. As an example, it's generally agreed that rappers are very bad with being on time in the music industry. Most rappers have zero professionalism, like I'm talking zero. The majority don't really know how to conduct themselves.
Facts, they do what they want.
Aside from outright ignorance, okay, just like straight ignorance and zero professionalism, a lot of rappers show up to meetings high off their mind, perked up, leaned out, zanned out, you name it. And to go along with the professionalism aspect, rappers are known for not paying people in the music industry. So as an example, let me share a quick story before we keep talking. One time I heard this story, and I'm not gonna say any names, but there's this engineer who works in the music industry. He mainly works with major label artists, and this engineer one time was working with a rapper, decently sized. Some of y'all actually might have him on your playlist, and they were in the studio. Mind you, this was the first time they're working together, and there was a disagreement about, let's just say, a simple disagreement about the payment process, and one thing led to another, and this poor guy got beat up by this rapper and his entourage. Long story short, he ended up getting, he didn't get paid for his work, and he also ended up getting sent to the ER. Now, that's just one story out of the dozens on top of the dozens of stories that I've heard involving rappers being, honestly, for lack.
Or like y'all heard what the OT7 Kwani, what'd he do? He scammed that kid, whatever, bro. Like, I was watching that video, bro, and I was just like, bro, like, damn, bro. Like, nigga, you getting money now, bro. You don't gotta do that. Like, I know, you feel me? You put on the scam and, you scam and shit, whatever. However, like, bro, you getting money now, nigga, bro. That nigga, he a little nigga to you. You feel me? Like, I mean, yeah, he got got. That's a fact. But, like, come on, how you gonna do the nigga like that, bro? Like, come on. That shit lame, low-key,
Lack of better words, shitty. And the reason why I bring this up is not to sit here and demonize hip-hop or artists in the culture. I'm not only a voice in the genre, but I'm a rapper and singer myself. I make music, and all I'm saying is we have a cultural and class issue in hip-hop, which has painted rappers in an extremely bad light. People see us as difficult to work with. I mean, when the most important person, the engineer, doesn't get paid and gets sent to the ER, it's an issue, right? When people have this perspective of rappers, that they have, zero professionalism and whatnot, and that they don't know how to be on time, and that they like bring 1,000 niggas to the studio who are all hotheads and they're all on perk 30s and leaned out and can't respect boundaries, and they're known as the musicians who don't pay people. It's a very big problem. So this story right here just validates all those negative aspects of rappers, rap culture, and hip-hop in general. Rappers in the music industry are known for having a holier-than-thou energy as well, and they have that towards anyone they're working with. This is one of the unspoken reasons why rappers who quote-unquote fall off have a very hard time getting that momentum again. Did you guys know that a big part of that isn't actually the quality of the music only? Shocker. It's actually the person behind the music. Because have you guys noticed how there's a type of rapper who they might not have that much momentum and they might be all that relevant to the public anymore, but those are the rappers who more often than not end up bouncing back quicker. Now, ask yourself, why is that? Well, because that other guy actually has morals, values, principles, and he's made an effort to nurture his relationships and treat people with respect. So when he needs some help because his career is colder than Iceland, all he needs to do is make a few phone calls. Next thing you know, he has a record with one of the hottest rappers in that period. Now, how does that happen? Well, that happens because people like you. You're actually a solid, cool, good person. So when you need your back scratched because you're a cool cat, people will come through. Get it? Cool cat, back scratched. There are countless of rappers who've quote-unquote fallen off, not because of the quality of their music, but due to their lack of character. And it's no surprise that engineers and producers don't want to work with you. I mean, there's so many rappers who act like they're above the people who literally make the beats and polish your vocals to make you sound good for the world. And at the end of the day, music is a team effort, yet you're out here acting like it's a one-man show, which that's just not the case. So this type of story casts a negative light on rappers as a whole. And like I mentioned earlier, this ultimately comes down to an issue of class. And when it comes to these particular particular rappers, by the way, Lil TJ and Fabio Foreign, they don't really have that much momentum anymore. Lil TJ, as an example, is an independent artist, so for him, this kind of thing hurts him more than he could ever realize. When you're not on a major label like him, your relationships especially matter in a situation like this, because that's the only thing you can draw from. At least when you're signed to a major label, you have access to an entire network of people through your partner, which is the label. But when you don't, it's relationships like these that are going to help you bounce back and stay in the spotlight. I really respect Playqueboy for standing on business and keeping it P. And by the way, he ended up responding to this entire thing afterwards by saying this:
if you don't respect what I do, I don't want to work with you. So here's what it is. It's never gonna get done. Every artist I've ever invited on stream, all them niggas have respected me, I respect them, and we have fun and it's good vibes every time. This is the first time some ever happened like this.
Just like a man is supposed to, he stood on his principles, and for that, he got my respect. So shout out to Playqueboy. I also know that he's doing really good on the music front as well, and he has a little bit of momentum. So shout out to another young black man winning, man. Shout out to Playqueboy. Anyway, if you made it this far, drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And
how y'all feeling about what Lil TJ did? Look over there, bro. He trying, son. Son just bugging, B. You know, niggas be bugging. You know how niggas be bugging, son. That's what it is, son. He just bugging. Either way, don't make it right. You heard son? My son Playboy Max stand on bed. You heard son? Stand on bed. Alright, tight set.